Goyal Brothers Prakashan. Goyal Brothers Prakashan is a well-known, one of the oldest educational publishing houses in India. A humble venture started by Sri Keval Ram Gupta about 60 years ago. With a mission to serve the cause of education, we have grown today to a company with presence in over 25,000 schools and more than 10 countries. We sell around 10 million books every year. Our team works dedicatedly to help learners, teachers, and everyone involved with education. We continue to carry the philosophy of our founder of literary and scholarly achievements in all aspects of the teaching-learning process. We bring the best of the latest technologies and pedagogies from all over the world and build curriculum resources based on our traditional Indian learning values. Our well-designed books are used in thousands of schools across the country. These books help students each day to enjoy the process of learning. We work with eminent authors to gain from their experience and share their knowledge and skills with teachers across the world. The books come with substantial or adequate support for teachers in the form of online resources, tests, teaching pedagogies to empower them to teach effectively and meet all the demands and challenges of a modern classroom. Regular workshops and seminars ensure that we provide teachers with continuous training and support to equip them with necessary skills and provide a platform for sharing their ideas and experiences. We have always believed that we must work together with all institutions in education continue to improve and grow. Goyal Brothers today is proud to share this knowledge with the rest of the world through Goyal Overseas. Goyal Brothers wants to become a part of the life of the learner. We have ventured into school uniforms by the name of Unithreads and stationery by the name of First Choice to uphold the standards of quality that our young learners deserve. Learning happens both inside and outside of the classroom. Our digital learning platforms, Meritbox and Bright Tutee, provide learners with access to high-quality content in formats that are easy to understand and make learning enjoyable. Meritbox gives complete digital support to the learners and educators and helps complement the books published by Goyal Brothers Prakashan. Meritbox is a tool that makes learning fun and enhances the features of our books. Bright Tutee is a digital learning app for the learners which learning easy at any given time or place at their own pace. Bright Tutee provides the content of 20 different boards of India and it based strictly according to the syllabus. It helps in better conceptual understanding and helps the child with self-assessment and exam preparation with ample content to practice and revise. The content are based on the examination pattern prescribed by respective state boards. Goyal Brothers Prakashan. Goyal Brothers Prakashan is a well-known, one of the oldest educational publishing houses in India. A humble venture started by Sri Keval Ram Gupta about 60 years ago. With a mission to serve the cause of education, we have grown today to a company with presence in over 25,000 schools and more than 10 countries. We sell around 10 million books every year. Our team works dedicatedly to help learners, teachers, and everyone involved with education. We continue to carry the philosophy of our founder of literary and scholarly achievements in all aspects of the teaching-learning process. We bring the best of the latest technologies and pedagogies from all over the world and build curriculum resources based on our traditional Indian learning values. Our well-designed books are used in thousands of schools across the country. These books help students each day to enjoy the process of learning. We work with eminent authors to gain from their experience and share their knowledge and skills with teachers across the world. The books come with substantial or adequate support for teachers in the form of online resources, tests, teaching pedagogies to empower them to teach effectively and meet all the demands and challenges of a modern classroom. Regular workshops and seminars ensure that we provide teachers with continuous training and support to equip them with necessary skills and provide a platform for sharing their ideas and experiences. We have always believed that we must work together with all institutions in education continue to improve and grow. Goyal Brothers today is proud to share this knowledge with the rest of the world through Goyal Overseas. Goyal Brothers wants to become a part of the life of the learner. We have ventured into school uniforms by the name of Unithread and stationery by the name of First Choice to uphold the standards of quality that our young learners deserve. Learning happens both inside and outside of the classroom. Our digital learning platforms, Meritbox and Bright Tutee, provide learners with access to high-quality content in formats that are easy to understand and make learning enjoyable. Meritbox gives complete digital support to the learners and educators and helps complement the books published by Goyal Brothers Prakashan. Meritbox is a tool that makes learning fun and enhances the features of our books. Bright Tutee is a digital learning app for the learners which learning easy at any given time or place at their own pace. Bright Tutee provides the content of 20 different boards of India and it based strictly according to the syllabus. It helps in better conceptual understanding and helps the child with self-assessment and exam preparation with ample content to practice and revise. The content are based on the examination pattern prescribed by respective state boards. Goyal Brothers Prakashan. Goyal Brothers Prakashan is a well-known, one of the oldest educational publishing houses in India. A humble venture started by Shri Keval Ram Gupta about 60 years ago. With a mission to serve the cause of education, we have grown today to a company with presence in over 25,000 schools and more than 10 countries. We sell around 10 million books every year. Our team works dedicatedly to help learners, teachers, and everyone involved with education. We continue to carry the philosophy of our founder of literary and scholarly achievements in all aspects of the teaching-learning process. We bring the best of the latest technologies and pedagogies from all over the world and build curriculum resources based on our traditional Indian learning values. Our well-designed books are used in thousands of schools across the country. These books help students each day to enjoy the process of learning. We work with eminent authors to gain from their experience and share their knowledge and skills with teachers across the world. The books come with substantial or adequate support for teachers in the form of online resources, tests, teaching pedagogies to empower them to teach effectively and meet all the demands and challenges of a modern classroom. Regular workshops and seminars ensure that we provide teachers with continuous training and support to equip them with necessary skills and provide a platform for sharing their ideas and experiences. We have always believed that we must work together with all institutions in education continue to improve and grow. Goyal Brothers today is proud to share this knowledge with the rest of the world through Goyal Overseas. Goyal Brothers wants to become a part of the life of the learner. We have ventured into school uniforms by the name of Unithreads and stationery by the name of First Choice to uphold the standards of quality that our young learners deserve. Learning happens both inside and outside of the classroom. Our digital learning platforms, Meritbox and Bright Tutee, provide learners with access to high-quality content in formats that are easy to understand and make learning enjoyable. Meritbox gives complete digital support to the learners and educators and helps complement the books published by Goyal Brothers Prakashan. Meritbox is a tool that makes learning fun and enhances the features of our books. Bright Tutee is a digital learning app for the learners which learning easy at any given time or place at their own pace. Bright Tutee provides the content of 20 different boards of India and it based strictly according to the syllabus. It helps in better conceptual understanding and helps the child with self-assessment and exam preparation with ample content to practice and revise. The content are based on the examination pattern prescribed by respective state boards.
A very good morning to all our participants. Goyal Brothers Prakashan and Bright Tutee welcomes you all to the webinar on Art Integrated Learning in Mathematics. We have with us Ms. Ishita Mukherjee, who's the subject expert. She has a vast experience in teaching mathematics, and she's also a CBSE committee member and contributor to the newly introduced art integration towards experiential learning and innovative teaching methods for joyful learning in mathematics for CBSE. She has conducted various workshops across the country, and we are really glad that we have ma'am with us today for this webinar. We'll begin the session in the next couple of minutes. We are waiting for a few more participants to join us. Kindly bear with us. Ma'am, you can share your screen and we'll begin the session at 11:05. I welcome you and all the best. I hope this session is a fruitful one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maitreyi. And I'm really honored to be here to receive this invitation and to be with people, discuss and have an interactive session with them as much as possible, of course, online. And I'm really looking forward to this. So I'll just go into sharing my screen and just generally tell people as to what to expect. And maybe at 11:05, we can start off with the presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is my screen visible to everybody?
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you. All right. So as I mentioned before, having an online session does, of course, slightly reduce the interactivity, but we will have the chat box going throughout for, talking, exchanging ideas. And what I would like you to do, because I think we've got about a minute or two to start off the program, if you could just, being maths, get some kind of, paper. And if you are lucky enough in this lockdown to have some graph papers at home, then of course that would be fantastic for you. But otherwise, any paper and pencil would do. And if you have your geometry box, which I expect maths teachers to generally have at home, that would be fantastic. So you have a minute to get these things together, and we will start off now. And I will request
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. And
yes,
also like to inform all our participants that I've shared the YouTube link on the chat box. If there are any other teachers who are trying to enter the room and if they are aware of, they can forward the link to them. And I'll also like to welcome our participants who are with us on YouTube and Bright Tutee app. Thank you so much for being there with us. You can continue, ma'am. Thank you so much.
thank you. One request, and I'm sure like everybody has been doing and attending a lot of webinars out here. So we know the certain things is to have the mic off, and of course, do desist from sharing screen or anything, because that actually the experience for you would become, not very pleasant in that case, because if there's an audio feedback. So I think it's about 11:05 and we can start off. So the session today is going to start with a small quiz. I am going to show you certain slides together, and that's why I said that have some, note paper, anything to scribble on. What I would like you to do is look at those slides and write down what all things that you find similar, just a few words. So here I start off. Okay, we have these 4 slides here. As you can see, just write what is it that you find similar about them. Please write it in the chat box. I am watching it. You can start answering. Okay, I can see patterns, tessellation, patterns, all right, fractals. What kind of patterns are they? Use of horizontal and vertical lines, symmetry, yes, of course. Warley art, all right. Patterns, so zigzag, symmetry. So do you think all these are, these are similarities, right? Repetition, so I guess we can take it as a pattern, that normally patterns, repeat themselves. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Now look at them. You're telling me all about these patterns and things. Somebody has mentioned, I think, 1 or 2 people about Warley art. Now have a look. The first slide is of African art. The second one is Maori, which is New Zealand. So it is Australia, the continent Australia. Hawaiian, which is the American continent. And then you have Greek art, which is Europe. So out of the 5 continents, we see 4 continents represented here. I have not considered Asia here right now because, of course, India will come in later and very much so. But do you realize, and these are all tribal ethnic arts. So this is something which is very intrinsic, innate in their culture. And just without knowing, we found similarity in them, right? So would I be correct in saying this? Mathematics knows no races or geographic boundaries. For mathematics, the cultural world is one country. Okay, so for us mathematicians, we have this whole world is ours, for us, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Would you agree with that? Yes, yes, I can see all the mathematics teachers are happy. Thank you so much. So now we go on to the next thing as to what we are going to do today. So it is art integration, mathematics. I am now, let me say something. When we talk about art integration and exactly what CBSE means by it, it is all kinds of art. I mean, it is visual art, it is performing art, all kinds of art. So that means, you can have music, you can have um, theater, role play, art and craft, anything goes. I personally, and since there is constraint of time, I will be focusing on visual art, paintings, and that too very limited sense, because there are topics. Once we go into it, you could say that you could probably have a whole 1 day workshop on it. So I am basically looking at patterns and shape and how they matter in mathematics. So, the next thing that you see, I have a question for you. Can you tell me, if there was a fifth figure, how many red boxes would be there? You can see four figures on your screen. If there were to be a fifth figure, how many red boxes would you find on that? Nine. Yes, correct. Absolutely correct. Thank you. Now tell me something. How did you work it out? I mean, there are no numbers, nothing given to you. So how did you work it out that it's going to be 9? AP. All right. Pattern. Exactly the word that I was looking for. From pattern, you found out what the number, the answer is going to be. Can you see the intrinsic relationship between pattern, which we relate with art, and with mathematics? All right. Let me tell you one thing, and I'm sure this won't be something new for you people, because you're all experienced mathematics teachers, that the constraint we face as mathematics teachers is mathematics has been narrowed down by certain people. I mean, especially people who have, I should say, a fear of mathematics, to arithmetic. Now, arithmetic, they're very afraid of numbers and calculations and all these things. And oh my God, maths means, you have to deal with multiplication, itne lambe lambe, ye wo. But that's untrue. Arithmetic is a very, very small part of mathematics. It has just four operations, which if you look at it, we finish off by class 3, 4. That cannot be the whole mathematics, and that is not mathematics. Arithmetic came much later. But if we were to look at the origin of mathematics, it talks about patterns, shapes, things around us. Okay, that is what gave meaning to mathematics. From their logical ideas developed, and much later we started quantifying amounts and things where numbers and all this came in. So basically it is about pattern, art. So you cannot have mathematics. Let's go on to the next one. Again, what would be the pattern is 17 6. See how the word pattern keeps on coming up. Okay. And lastly, again, have you seen these kind of things? Where would you have seen? Are you familiar with what is being asked here? Where would you have seen these kind of things? Can I see in the chat box? I'm not yet getting any feedback. Number of stakes, graphs, reasoning, exactly. In probably in we find these in competitive exams, in where we have quantitative aptitude and all these kind of things, that's where you find them. Yes, I can see the answers coming up. Logic aptitude, reasoning aptitude test of what? Of numbers. So you see how mathematics, and when we talk about patterns, let me go on to this further. Can you work this out for me? What would the answer be for this? 200. Yes, the answers have started coming in. 200. How did you solve it? How did you figure out that the answer is 200 and which is the correct answer? How did you figure it out? Okay, by squaring. All right, all right. So before you arrived, I mean, what did you, how did you know it was square, multiplied, whatever? Ah, there. Simranjit Singh says, follow the pattern, the answer that I was looking for. You studied the top four lines, studied the pattern, used your logic, and came up with the correct answer. Okay, this is just to reinforce the point how pattern is important. All right, now let's go on to what do you see out here? What would you see out here? Kindly answer. Okay, art, mandala art, proportion, geometrical patterns. Fantastic. Okay, now I'll tell you what I see out here. I mean, of course, I agree with all the things that you have said. I see the concept of concentric circles out here. Would you agree with me? This mandala painting, which it is very correctly, as you have said, I see the concept of concentric circles out here. Similarly, in this here, I see squares of, each connected with the midpoint of the bigger things and making squares from both of them reducing. In fact, it could be a question on area. And what do you think that, what would it be? Would it be AP or GP that can be represented by this? Is that possible? With this particular figure, can we have a mathematical expression for this? Yeah, somebody has written midpoint theorem. Definitely, we can have midpoint, the GP for area. Yeah, lovely. Okay, so this is what I was going to say, that art and pattern, when we talk about that, what has art got to do? And we will go further into it. So I think by now it should be convincing to a lot of people that art and mathematics go hand in hand. It is almost impossible to have one without the other. All right, so you can see this. These are gifts which, children also love making, the ones who are, very technically savvy. I'll show you another one. Are they pretty? Quite interesting, right? Okay, and these are some things which children can make. But let's see where it goes. The first one that you saw, if you look at it, we started with this triangle, okay, the first one, and we scaled it down by 1/3. You can see out here. All right. And we further scaled it down like this. And this is what you actually saw in the first GIF. All right. The second one is this one. Now, you might say that what is the point of showing this? But again, I doubt anybody would ask that, because again, we have maths teachers here. So, therefore, we all know the higher maths theory of fractals and chaos theory. All right, chaos theory is kind of, totally based on the fractals thing. So these are fractals, and this is something, if you just show it, instead of maybe starting to go to theory, this kind of thing can be even developed, maybe not thoroughly understood the concept, but interesting thing which can be done by children. That would be, tell me something, can a class 7 or 8 child make either of these things if you give them, show them how to do it? Do you think they would be able to do, and whether they would enjoy doing it? Because, that is another thing, that, whether they'll be enjoy. Okay, I can say, yeah. So they will enjoy. So imagine, we don't have to talk about fractal theory in class 7th or 8th. I'm not saying that. But you know what? When they have done this, and when they have done it themselves, that experiential learning, when you later talk about fractal theory and all these kind of things, there is a sense of connection. When you show that and you link it with that, okay, you can find a connection which sometimes is lost. All right. Going on to the last one that I'm going to show you uh, here for establishing, I would say, my point. Okay. Can somebody again tell me what is this? People would know, I guess. Not, I guess, I'm pretty sure they would know. Pythagorean tree, absolutely. I should know that I'm talking to mathematics teachers. Now, here, all right, let's concentrate on this particular triangle. Of course, it's a Pythagorean tree, and therefore, this is a right triangle. But is it an isosceles right triangle? No, correct. And does it make a difference? Let's have a look. What happens if this, I'm going to just in a minute show you how this actually, first, what I want you to see out here, that people, I of course gave up biology after class 10th. I had mechanical drawing, but people who have studied biology and, botany, and about, trees, would know that there are trees and shrubs and various kind of divisions. You can almost see all of them here. The ferns, where the fronds you can see, or you can see a big, huge tree like a bargat ka peड़. So everything is kind of, is being encompassed in that Pythagorean tree, the various kind of trees that we have around us. And that's like magic. And where does that come from? That comes from here again, as you said, a Pythagorean tree. But what's the difference between this one and the previous one? Here, the triangle. So, this is a project work. If you wish, you could give to your students. You tell them about Pythagorean tree, you show them, and maybe make groups where everybody uses, I mean, each group uses right angle triangle. Somebody uses isosceles, that is 45, 45, 90. Somebody does 60, 30, 90. Somebody does 75, 15, 90, and see what difference does it make in the pattern. Do you think that would be an interesting study? What do you feel? Is it something that can be done? I have to really, because I'm, I mean, this is really lovely that I'm getting so many responses, and therefore I have to constantly drag down my cursor to, see, refresh them. All right. Yeah. Okay, fine. So now, as I said, I mean, the next thing that I wish to show you, how many of you recognize this? Have you seen, maybe in your childhood or something, have you seen something like this? Have you, इसका एक नाम भी है, design, yes. Aage, all right, I can see. Yeah. I see spirograph. Who gave that number? किसी ने answer दिया था. I saw spirograph. Yeah. From Richa ma'am. All right, absolutely correct. This is spirography. You must be thinking why I'm showing you spirography out here. I will just show you in a minute. All right. But one thing about spirography, spirography is about, where you draw a circle within circles or circles outside. And sometimes it's not even circle, but something in circular design. I remember I had a huge box with various designs and all that, and you really need to practice a lot to be able to do it. But the point out here is they also have names. A circle revolving inside a circle is called a hypotrichoid. And the one which is outside, that is called an epitrichoid. Why I'm talking about this, you will get from the next figure. I think you will have to peer closely at your screen to look at this. Now, before doing that, firstly tell me, do these look like spirograph designs or rangolis or mandala to you? Yeah? Oh, somebody said that, kids, like I'm trying to catch up with all the, remarks here. And I'm so glad that, there are so many responses. Yeah. Astrology, says Zada, somebody has mentioned, it is actually to do with astronomy, all right, which is science. Now, if you look at it, just see very closely. For example, if you take this, these are all heliocentric models, which means that with sun at the center, and we have this one, like I'm talking about this one, Mars and Earth. All right, revolutions of Mars and Earth over 8 orbits around the sun, and when they are plotted, this is what the figure. Because after all, what is happening? There are 3 spherical shapes revolving in certain object, and so if you could plot them, graph them, this is the figure that you would get. Okay, there are various kind of patterns here of different planets, of different, but keeping in mind that they are all heliocentric, you have this. So once you have seen this, do you think we would be correct in saying, would you agree with this? Yeah? Okay. I am so glad that you agree, because, I guess all of us being here loving mathematics, it is a sense of, what should I say, a happiness or this thing when we read something like mathematics is the language with which God has written the universe. We are going to take a 2-minute break out here, and then we will go on with our session. See you soon on the other side. Thank you.
Bright Tutee is India's most comprehensive, student-friendly and result-oriented digital learning platform. Download today the Bright Tutee app from Google Play Store and get the comprehensive digital learning course prepared by competent and experienced teachers and subject matter experts. At Bright Tutee, you get courses full of different boards that are based on the syllabus, prescribed textbooks, and examination guidelines of the respective board. These courses are available in three mediums. For Hindi medium students, the courses are available in Hindi language. For English medium students, the courses are available in English and also in bilingual, that is Hindi and English both. The courses are available in many subjects, including mathematics, science, social science, English, and Hindi on Bright Tutee. All the courses of Bright Tutee are based on three steps approach: learning, assessment, and exam preparation. In learning, you have topic-wise video to help you in understanding each topic easily. Each video lesson includes detailed discussion of concepts along with textbook examples and textbook questions. In the assessment, there are topic-wise online tests in the form of MCQs so that you can do self-assessment of how much you have learned from a given topic. In addition to this, you get topic-wise practice assignments in solved and unsolved format. Unsolved format is for your practice and solved format is to guide you how to write the correct answer. Assignments include questions based on board exam pattern. In addition to topic-wise assignments, chapter-wise question bank with answers is also available. Exam preparation includes all the solved and unsolved previous year's question papers, sample papers, and model test papers. Sign up on Bright Tutee today.
Okay. So back again. Hello, everybody. I hope you had a water break or whatever that you need. I'll just have the. Okay. So, is the screen visible?
Yes, you can
Okay.
continue, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All right. So we go on to our next thing so now that I think for us, it is established that mathematics, art, pattern, shapes go hand in hand. All right. Now that has been established. So what is art integration? Since you can see it on the screen, I'm not really going to read it out for you. It's understanding through an art form, because ultimately what we must keep in mind that all of us in our own way are different people. We don't understand or learn the same way. So we have different ways of learning and how to make it interesting for a child. Now, as mathematics, as you know, has an intrinsic link with various art forms. I mean, when we talk about music, all the beats, the tals are basically various combinations of fractions. So everywhere that we find, is it possible, because we know that art is something, any kind of art. For some people, it is music or painting, visual art, or performing art, anything. They're dear to people and especially children. So whether we can, look at when we talk about innovative technology, or sorry, innovative ways of teaching, this is another thing that where we cater to multiple intelligences, where students engage in a creative process, okay, which includes art form and any other subject area. Specifically, here we talk about maths. What are the benefits? Okay, the why should we go into it? I know I mean, we are all learning, so it does require looking at things in a different way. So integrating fine art into mathematics, firstly, it makes you more inwardly active. I would just like to delve into this word, inwardly active. I would say mentally active. All of us being teachers, we have seen so many times, because we have to do lab activities, and I think almost everybody out here has done things like a plus b whole square cut paste and things and other. But ultimately, I mean, the mistakes are being made. That is of course my opinion, I feel, because they're completely instruction based, where the child is mentally not active. The child is being instructed that, okay, cut a square, cut a rectangle, paste it, write this. The child, yes, it is an activity, but an activity where there is no active mental participation of the child. So this is what is inwardly active, where the child's mind is acting. When you are creating something on your own, that comes. And this connection, you know, enables because everybody is not going to make the same thing. They might not even make the correct thing. But at least, you see, as a teacher, I always used to feel that it is much better that a child gives a wrong answer than the child keeps quiet. Because if somebody gives a wrong answer, I know that where is the child going wrong. But if somebody just keeps quiet, I do not know. So therefore, it's good thing. Let the child make mistakes. We make mistakes every day, major mistakes in life. So therefore, but also we learn different view and approaches to knowledge, deepening and personalizing. This is what we talk about experiential learning. And of course, it offers advantage to related to mathematical reasoning, which you saw right at the first thing when you figured out what patterns it will be. What was that? It was mathematical logical reasoning. Okay, visual imagination, because that is maths. As we go higher up, sometimes can become abstract for children, and especially that is another thing that which happens mainly in middle school, or I would actually say from about class fourth, fifth, where operations start taking a back seat and other concepts come in, and also comprehension becomes more important than just doing the operation. That's where, maths phobia starts setting in. And by the time it probably reaches 9, 10th, secondary or high secondary, it might just concretize. And let me tell you, if it does, all of you maths teachers, tell me how many people, adults you've met who have said, God, I'm so scared of maths, or I hate maths. Adults. It's something very normal, very common. So this is where, that say from fourth to eighth, 8, 9, 10th is where if we can take away this fear and create this interest, I think our problems are solved. And especially definitely till eighth, because, after all, I can't ignore the reality that, in 10th and 12th board exams, and therefore teachers do get busy and may not have the time. But believe me, it is very possible to integrate, and that's what we are going to do in the next session. I would like you to study this picture, and I would also like to know whether you like it. I mean, we all have different tastes, so it's not necessary that everybody likes the same kind of thing. But how many of you like this? And what do you find about it? Let me show you another one. Look at the names also. This is Surya Namaskar. Can you find anything? Why should it be called Surya Namaskar? I am just going through the chat, energizing. Sun is there in the picture. Okay. Yeah, such images, energizing. Okay. The colors used, lovely. Yeah, this is Shruti Nair. Okay. Colors used, lovely. Yoga poses. Yes, of course. That's a fantastic thing to say, because after all, it is, Surya Namaskar, which is about yoga. Lovely, because that is something people do not get. Sun definitely, but the yoga poses, as you can see out here, the way our body bends and, we raise our hands and all that has been depicted by what? It is all lines and shapes and symmetry and color, which all you have mentioned. So this is, if you further want to wish to go into it, this is called the Bindu series, which is by the famous artist S.H. Raza. You'll find it, you can show it to your children, and uh, you can even ask them to make something like this. I mean, their original thing, of course, but take ideas from this and, make this. I mean, they might find it interesting. But I have an ulterior motive as to why I'm showing you this. Okay, so for that, we go on to the next thing. If you had, I think till about class fifth or eighth, all of us had, our various club activities or our, I think in my time, probably it was called SUPW. No, that was socially useful something. Anyway, we had art, music, all these classes, right? Uh, this is the color wheel. All right. Now, I'm sure you're aware that there are exactly three primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. These are the three primary colors. When you mix red and yellow, what do you get? You get orange. When you mix yellow and blue, you make green, and red and blue gives you purple. So these are called the secondary colors. Now to orange, if I use more of yellow, I get a yellowish orange. If I to orange, I mix some red, I get a reddish orange. These are called the tertiary colors. So we have primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Now the thing comes in, like suppose I tell you that in red orange, this particular shade, what is the part, because we are getting this by mixing, what is the part of orange in this particular thing? So you see, you started with half yellow and half red. You got orange. All right. And then in orange, again you mixed half of orange, okay, and half of red. So ultimately, what is the portion of red in this thing? Do you see the arithmetic out here? Fractions. And when we talk about colors, you see that was, let me just go back for a second. Look at this green and look at this green. Both are green. But would you call it the same kind of green? No. Yes. Exactly. It's not the same kind of green. What is bringing in the difference? The difference is the ratio, the proportion of the colors that you have made, it is very interesting. I was going, the things that you make, I mean, we study about or we read about, and these are practical things when we are getting our house done, like getting walls painted or decoration and things. We come across words like hues, tones, shades. Hue is the actual color. Tone is tint, sorry, is when you add white to it, maybe one drop. And as it goes, the like red is slowly turning into pink, dark pink, light pink, baby pink almost. You are adding more proportion of white. If you start, shade is when you add black. So tint, shade, and tone. And do you realize, because you're adding proportionately, it is becoming arithmetic, actually ratio proportion. So here, this is how you do it, by mixing colors. Now let's look at this one. Do you see 10 parts made? This is the whole part. I have 9 parts of yellow and 1 part of orange. I get this shade of orange. All right, now orange has different shades. So do you think it is possible that children, for project or in class, whatever that as a teacher you would decide, they could enjoy mixing their own colors and making some, colors on there, like for example, and write down what are the proportions. For example, look at this. In the whole part of 10, you have 7 parts of yellow, you have 2 parts of red, and 1 part of black. All right. So then the question is, what is the portion? And we could, it's not necessary we make it for so simple. We could have something like maybe 5 parts or something. Can we use this for teaching children part to whole determining ratio for paint mixing? Can it be used there? I have this question for you. As colleagues, as friends, I would like to know from you whether that's possible. Yes. Yes. Do you think it can be done with school children? What class would you suggest it? What class would you suggest that something like this can be done? 5th or 6th, ratio, proportion, 7th or 8th. So see, it depends how much complexity you wish to bring in this. So you can start with very simple things, fraction maybe in class 3, 4 or something like that, 4, 5. And if you want to go into, more complexities, more shades and tints, you can use it in 7th, 8th, wherever. And this is something I personally feel, if children made their own shades and gave it names and something, it would be something quite enjoyable. That is my belief. Going on to the next thing, why again I am reinforcing this color wheel, as you see, and bringing that back, that how color art is totally kind of in sync with mathematics. How to choose colors that work. Sometimes we say, hey, Bhagwan, kya color combination hai? We use the color wheel, or sometimes it is called the color calculator. But more than that, look at this. I've put them in different colors. That's why color harmonies are based on geometric relationships on the color wheel. Can you see? This is what is given. For this reason, we can represent them as shapes. See, these are, when they are opposite to each other, they are called complementary. Like this would be complementary to this. When they are, side by side, they are analogous, triadic, split complementary. Do you see how much of geometry is involved in mixing colors and tones and shades? What will complement, what will contrast? All this comes from the geometric relationships. So I guess after this, nobody should be saying that how can we have maths and arts together? They just, are meant for each other, in my view, and hopefully by now, your view also. Okay. So going back, this is something you might have done, I do not know. This is called illusion cube, all right, where it gives an illusion of a 3D thing. So I have mentioned, and this is why, sometimes I feel a bit sad about online things, because had it been, the way it used to be, I would have asked you to make it and you would have spent time doing this. See, so draw a regular, you first start with a hexagon. Now here, of course, I have mentioned that mark the midpoints. It is not necessary. You can have 1/4, 3/4, whatever, but as long as whatever points you're marking, they have to be at the same distance from this center. Okay, here I just said midpoint. It's not actually exactly midpoint also, but let's take it for the thing, not to scale. Now what happens? You join them. So now you have a similar hexagon. These two are similar figures. I think you can make out. Do you think we can ask people to prove that whether this hexagon and this hexagon are similar? Do you think that could be a question when children are doing it, say in higher, when they have studied similarity? All right. Can we say that, ask them that, how do you prove that these are similar? I'm getting behind in the chat, so I can see, okay, new messages coming in. Just a minute, please, so that I can keep up with your messages. All right. So going back to this, ultimately, what do we have? We have two hexagons, and all that has been done is we have erased the alternate lines. So in the first one, okay, we have this, we have erased. The alternate ones have been erased. And in the bigger one, same thing, except the opposite. I mean, see, this one has been erased, this has been left. So you are very clear what is to be done. Now what happens? So this was geometry, correct? Now with this geometry, when we bring in colors, see what happens. How many people are going to try this? I'm asking you all. बच्चे तो बाद में, students बाद में. How many of you are going to try it sometime or the other? Okay. All right. Okay. I'm so glad. A lot of people are saying they will try. That's wonderful. Keep this in mind. You will need three different shades. Okay. And here comes another thing. How do you put the shades? It has to be opposite. See, yellow, yellow matches, red, red matches, blue, blue matches. Same here if you look at it. Now, here with this, at which angle you see, it depends on, whether it has been cut away or there is a box and cube inside a cube. But again, the coloring remains the same. This matches with this bottom, this matches with this, and the deepest blue matches with that. Please keep that formula in mind. Being a mathematics teacher, formula वगैरह के बगैर तो हमारे चलते नहीं है. So keep this formula in mind that these opposite sides should match. Now, okay, बन तो गया. इससे हम क्या कर सकते हैं? What if we want to do? Now think, I don't know what angle you are seeing it from. To me, this is appearing that we have a big cube and a small cube here. Remember 10th में हमारे कितने बच्चों को they have problem when we have those that you cut away a cube, what would be the surface, or you cut away a hemisphere and all these kind of things. We have these kind of questions coming up. Out here, if I were to question, okay, so I give one side of this and one side of this, given that both are cubes, all right, what would be the ratio of volume? What would be, okay, so this is kept on this. So what is the surface area? So surface area will be what? The portions that you can see. So it will be this, because this side is against this wall, this is against this wall, and the bottom. So there are various questions. And what I would say out here, that rather than sometimes, or most of the times, teachers asking these questions, ask students, okay, what all questions can you make? What would you ask if you had to, make questions on this? And that is going to, create what I said was that internal active participation where you are thinking that, okay, what all questions I can have here. It can be simple, it can be wrong, doesn't matter. The main thing is to make the child think. That is what is important. So I hope that, and in the end, I have shared my email ID. I would love it if you make it and send something to me, maybe make some question or something. I would like to share it with, of course, your name and thing that you said, because I think it's very interesting and not run of the mill things that we have been doing. All right, going on to the next thing. So this is something, and let me also tell you something. Almost everything, nearly I would say 75 to 80%, I have picked this up from internet. It's all available there. There are sites, there are pictures, anything. Here comes your creativity, your I would say mental participation, that how can you use this in teaching. Okay, So therefore, so this is somewhere I picked up. Now, please don't think that these are baked cakes. These are drawings. All right. Now look at these. These are paintings by children. So what are the math concepts being used here? Angles of 45-degree, 90-degree, three-dimensional, shapes and forms, perpendicular lines. You can see the perpendicular lines here and parallel perpendicular lines here and parallel lines here. What are the art concepts being used? Observing artistic work, form, shape, and all that. So the next one gives you how to make this. So if I think if you wish your children to do this, you can take a screen grab of the next one here, how to draw a cake with a slice. And if you see it, I'll just take you back 1 second. Now this is a cake. I'm sure all of you saw it as a cake. Some of you, like initially I did, thought it was actually a cake and not a drawing. But now look at it. It looks like a cylinder. All right, totally. I mean, there is no sign of cake anywhere. Nothing looks edible out here. So this can be, even if you don't want to do it as a cake, you can even do it as a question on mensuration of something, a HOTS question, if you wish, whether as construction or if this part is missing. This is here, you have the top circle, and here you have this sector being cut off, the various kind of things that you can come up with. So these are the instructions how to create this and how to draw. So this is something, again, if you do it, I would love to have a look, because that was, of course, I found on the net, but this is something, if you do it, I mean, I would really be interested in seeing how, and especially if your students do it, I would love to have a look how students are uh, transforming, I mean, creating this. Next. Okay, again, as I said, this picture I found, this is a minimalistic picture, and mind you, it is of a bird, and wo bhi kaun si chidiya, house sparrow. All right. So when I found this, I just thought that iska kuch, because it's all geometrical shapes, क्या कुछ कर सकते हैं. अब मैंने ये बनाया. All right. I'm not saying this is the थिंग. बहुत बढ़िया क्वेश्चंस बन सकते हैं, बट सच बोलूं तो क्योंकि ये आई थिंक मैंने कल या परसों बनाया, जल्दी में थी, सो आई जस्ट इन फैक्ट लेटर आई वाज थिंकिंग दैट आई वुड रादर नॉट गिव हाउ मच इज AD. I would rather expect people to find out AD. Sorry, I would like people to find out CD, not give this. Instead give AD, whereas out here I've asked AD. So I'm just giving you the figure. Forget this. This is just to give you an idea what you can do. I would love it if you create some questions on it, or you ask your students to create whatever. See, again, this is for, you can start with probably class 4 or 5, because they are very easy to construct. You can, if you are doing it on a graph paper, I think you can just do it with a scale. And if you are doing, I mean, you can use it in construction or trapezium, and there are so many kind of things. You have parallel lines, perpendicular lines, trapezium, right triangles. I've talked about congruence out here. अपने मन मर्जी से डाल दिया है, so आप भी अपने मन मर्जी से कर सकते हैं. And there are various kind of such pictures available which you can use. Going on to the next thing. So here I've given a blank one, which again you can take a screen grab and ask like कैसे question बना सकते हैं. Okay, let me ask you a question. What is the minimum information that you have to give in this one for a child to do figure out the area? Anybody would like to try? And you don't have to answer me here. You can always, as I said, my email is going to be there, so you can always answer me what you've done. In my idea, what I thought, that if I consider that these two rectangles are congruent and these two rectangles are congruent and these triangles are congruent, In that case, if I give the length and breadth of this rectangle, also the length and breadth of this rectangle, this should be enough. I have taken these two squares also as congruent. They don't appear congruent, but my information would be that these two are congruent, these two are congruent, these two are congruent, the squares are congruent. This is different. Okay. So I am saying that if I give this length, okay, or I would say height, this height and this breadth, it would be enough to find the area of this. Is that possible? Okay, I can see people are saying that yes, fine. So great. You can, make questions and something. And you know what is the tricky part? I have a feeling, I don't know, that if you give this to children, some people might ask, what is the uh, mm, area of this? Though, if you're talking about the area of the house or the frontage, this really doesn't matter because this is in the surface only. So, a child has to figure out that this is not the important part. This is not really required. Okay. Then, of course, when we talk about perimeter, they have to realize these have absolutely no importance in perimeter. In perimeter, we have to take these parts like this. All right. So, actually, if you look at it, it can be quite an interesting and a thoughtful question. So, I'm going to give you similar figures. For you to make up questions. They are very cute ones, whether you just wish to, uh, do it as construction or kids to recognize shapes, or you can have like maybe with paper cutouts. And once they've done it, you can ask them, so how much paper did you use? Which is another way of asking, like, what is the area of, instead of making a direct question that what is the area of this figure, you can always ask that what is the area, what is the amount of yellow paper that you have used for this. Okay, so obviously then they have to take the dimensions. You can ask about the red triangles, so many options. So then we go on to, this is again, everybody knows it's a square root spiral. All right. So here I have, what do you think of this question? Let me tell you, I've kept the questions very simple. It's just as a hint that what is the possibility that these figures are there. Can we use this, and which is something which should align with what our students are studying. All right. So we do sectors and areas of circles in class 10th. Okay. We even do circles in other classes. We can keep it only as a construction question for younger children. And we can talk about area and all these things for, children who are higher. So that I leave to your experience, your understanding, because you people are the teachers and you would know where to use what. I am just giving you certain resources, certain ideas that this is how you can use art. You can incorporate art and make it interesting for the students. The next one I'm going to show now. Have a good look at these figures and tell me what are they made of. And Fatima ma'am says quadrants. Very good. Quadrants. Fantastic. So circles and quadrants. So how many quadrants in the blue one we have? 3. This, if you look at it, is the whole circle. And this is more than a circle. Correct? Yeah. So now if I were to bring in this question, the area of the circle, all the circles, so it's the same circle. All right, given the area of the circle is 154 square units, find the area and perimeters of each figure. I spent quite some time thinking whether I should use the word circumference or perimeter. I had written circumference, then it didn't suit me. In fact, I would like some help from you here, that what should be the correct word, because some of them may not be, circular in shape. So whether we are going to use that, but that can come later. Now, do you think this would be an interesting question to make? The circle, this is what the child has to understand, okay? That I'm not talking about that this figure is 154 square units. The area of the circle is so. Perimeter is that. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All right. So do you think this would be, and children can make them, they can color it. And of course, the question comes later. So, do you think it would be an interesting question? Okay, answers have also started coming in. That's wonderful. Great. So, I am, these are the things that you can do. So, I am just going to now look at this, study this. Just give me a few more minutes and there'll be a short break again for you if you're getting tired. So this is just, I picked up, a figure, and, it can be used for Rangoli, Mandala, whatever. So I just picked up the basic figure, and these are my questions. What would you think of them?
एक second. Ma'am, can we take a break?
Uh, just a couple of minutes.
Okay, sure.
Just a couple of minutes, I will announce. Okay, yeah, coming back here. Yes, I know time is a factor. Definitely it is. The thing is, that is why I've tried to, bring in questions which will align with your topic. Okay, like as I said, like those figures which are about circles, quadrants, sectors, which are part of the course, but which are not there in the textbook. So when you are doing that, I mean, instead of doing that same question from the textbook, it could be this question. And also, so many times we look for new questions, hot question. So these kind of things can be used. My point is just to tell you that, it is aligned. Maths and art go hand in hand. We don't have to walk that extra thing to go on to this. All right. So now I this is another one before we take a break. Here, okay, my question to you out here is, how would you prove, if I say that this is an equilateral triangle, how do I prove that? I can't measure. These are, sorry, I forgot to give one information, that these are the angle bisectors. Okay, so these bisect these angles, and I am claiming that this is an equilateral triangle. I have a compass and scale. I don't have, so how do I do that? By folding. Lovely, median पे आ गए. कौन है? Naveen Uppal sir. Fantastic. Exactly. I will try and prove that this is the circumcenter. Because if this is circumcenter, then being angle bisector मैंने already बोल रखा है, and in equilateral triangle, circumcenter, that is centroid, in center, all these things they coincide. All right. So therefore, what I'm going to do is take this as a radius and try to draw a circle. If the circle passes through these 2 points, I can say that this is the circumcenter, hence the centroid. And after that, I, go on. So my questions which I formed here, like add two more triangles to extend the pattern. And I think of now we are going to take a short break again. What I would request you please to do is take screenshots of the pictures. Don't look at the questions. I would like you to make your own questions. Okay, think what you can do with this. How does it align? We can even talk about, maybe the midpoint theorem, whether this line is parallel to this area, whatever. Okay, so let's kind of check the next one. So, do you agree with this? Math is all about becoming a creative thinker, not a calculator. How many people would agree with this? You all are mathematicians sitting here. What do you feel? Yes, I see a lot of yes. So, with this, we again take a 2-minute break and then we go to the last part of our thing. Thank you. Jitin sir, please.
Yes.
Bright Tutee is India's most comprehensive, student-friendly and result-oriented digital learning platform. Download today the Bright Tutee app from Google Play Store and get the comprehensive digital learning course prepared by competent and experienced teachers and subject matter experts. At Bright Tutee, you get courses full of different boards that are based on the syllabus, prescribed textbooks, and examination guidelines of the respective board. These courses are available in 3 mediums. For Hindi medium students, the courses are available in Hindi language. For English medium students, the courses are available in English and also in bilingual, that is Hindi and English both. The courses are available in many subjects, including mathematics, science, social science, English, and Hindi on Bright Tutee. All the courses of Bright Tutee are based on 3 steps approach: learning, assessment, and exam preparation. In learning, you have topic-wise video to help you in understanding each topic easily. Each video lesson includes detailed discussion of concepts along with textbook examples and textbook questions. In the assessment, there are topic-wise online tests in the form of MCQs so that you can do self-assessment of how much you have learned from a given topic. In addition to this, you get topic-wise practice assignments in solved and unsolved format. Unsolved format is for your practice and solved format is to guide you how to write the correct answer. Assignments include questions based on board exam pattern. In addition to topic-wise assignments, chapter-wise question bank with answers is also available. Exam preparation includes all the solved and unsolved previous year's question papers, sample papers, and model test papers. Sign up on Bright Tutee today. Bright
Okay, back again after the water break, not long enough for tea. Am I audible?
Yes, we can continue, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. All right. So the screen is Visible? Coming back to, so I think we are all agreed that we need to make our children into creative thinkers rather than calculators. All right, on this note, we had parted, and on this note, we are going to start again. So, we go on to the next thing. Remember, I had told you when we did the very first slide, and I had talked about four continents, and I said, well, Asia is not there, and we are going to come back to it. Okay, definitely. And in Asia, of course, India. Indian traditional art and craft, and why in fact, right now I can see there's somebody who has asked about, the states, because this time CBSE had given states, to do the art projects on. So what I have done here is try to combine that what all can you go into mathematically with different states. Again, let me tell you, these are just ideas and things from my side, just possibilities for development. Of course, you will have to look into it further, but what I thought is very possible. Now I'm going to show you some stuff. All right, are you familiar with this? Okay, okay. Warli art. Warli art. All right. Okay. So now let's see. What is it? Surprise, no? These are Saura paintings from Odisha. All right. One thing is, do you see the geometry in it? The whole thing is about, and it's beautiful, totally depicted by lines and shapes and curves, and and this is one thing which is what I'm going to take you through, that traditional ethnic art which we saw in the first slide, and we are going to see in totally Indian context how they are very, very mathematical, geometric in nature. And also there is a similarity, because why I showed you this, because this is Saura painting, and let me just give you a slight background of Saura painting. It is a tribe in Orissa, Saura tribe. They are supposed to be, the descendants or the people who are supposed to have seen Ramayana, the thing. And I mean, you might have heard of the story of Shavari. Shavari came from this. I mean, these are, all like stories and mythology and thing mixed up. So I'm just saying, what I've read about them. I'm not claiming that this is, authentic, but anyway, this definitely is. And why I chose this specific one? Because of the next one. Yeah. So this is what you had mentioned. So these are Warli painting. And now look at the location. Warli painting is from Maharashtra. And they are so similar that a lot of you did write that the previous one was Warli. Now, Odisha is at the east, totally east of India. Maharashtra is west. But do you see? And here we are also talking about tribal art, traditional art, which has been going for hundreds of years, where maybe nowadays, we have all kinds of fusion stuff because, why just India? We are global travelers. Though, of course, the lockdown has put a stop to it, but that's what we were. And probably again become, I have no idea. But in that times where, traveling from community to community might have been difficult, you see the patterns and things, how connected we are, whether it is west of India or east of India, we find similarity in it. Let's go further. Any answers for this? Madhubani, correct. Now, here also, if you see, and another thing, do you see the preponderance of circles and concentric circles? Whether we are talking about mandala, which is basically a sacred thing in Buddhism, and you'll find it mainly now, of course, as I said, being global, you'll find it everywhere. And definitely, I mean, in my home I also have mandala, but otherwise it started from, you'll find Tibetan mandalas, then you'll find Nagaland and Ladakh and all that. That's where the mandala thing is. But you'll see mandala, which we had already gone through, is about concentric circles. You find the same thing here. All right. So this is your Madhubani, which happens to be Bihar. Madhubani paintings from Bihar. And after that, we come to, I'll just show you quickly how you can do this. I'll go back to Warli for a second. So this is something you can teach your students. They're very simple to make. And you can maybe, once you have taught them this, you can use geometry things. We can talk about vertically opposite angles. You can talk about intersecting lines. You can talk about parallel lines. I mean, I leave that to your creativity. I know you people do wonderful jobs in your class. So it is just giving, throwing a pebble in the minds of you teachers, that what all that you develop from there. So here we have a cow. I'm not very sure if it's a cow or a goat. You will have to tell me. I don't know. The size kind of looks like a goat. But anyway, so what I'm saying, again, you can take a screen grab and maybe, figure, then you can have ask children to make similar figures, dancing figures, because, construction of similar triangles and all that, again, is a part of the course. All right. So it is something which you can align with your construction in class 10th. All right. So next I go to, it's not only about painting, it is about art, handicraft, handloom. Does anybody know what this is? I mean, of course, I know it's embroidery, but can you tell me what kind of embroidery? I will give an advantage to ladies out here. They might know. Na 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 na, chain stitch, fulkari. No, I'm not yet getting. Nobody from South India here. No, I'm not getting the correct answer. I'm sure this must be full of men. Okay, let me give you the correct answer. Uh, it is Kasuti from Karnataka. And now I want to show you this. Of course, I'm sure people will be able to guess. Just a second. I don't know, my cursor is playing up a bit. This I think people should be able to guess. ये तो बहुत जाना पहचाना है. हाँ, no. Fulkari, lovely. आ गया. Yeah. Now look at the shapes. Also, the region. This is Karnataka, South India. This is Punjab, north of India. But look at, and both are embroidery. And these, again, all of you know that it's not ki abhi acha inhone inse dekh ke sikha inhone. No, fulkari has been, I mean, Punjab is known for fulkari. Punjab Emporium is called fulkari. Okay. Kasuti has been, there. I mean, that is a traditional thing of Karnataka. The stitching, the kind of work that they do. So these are all traditional things. And can you see the prevalence of geometry, shapes, and figures out here? I mean, I don't have the time today. I mean, as I said, if we start talking about embroidery and of all regions of India, you could have a workshop on that. So next that I'll go on, that this is Katha from Bengal, and this is Kutch from Gujarat. All right. So you have again that circle thing, again, two opposite sides of the country. and the similarity in the work. You see, difference would be what? How they stitch it. I'm sorry, I am not much of a seamstress and all that. तो ये डिटेल में आपको बता नहीं सकती कि स्टिचिंग में कौन सा स्टिच क्या है, वो फर्क मैं आपको नहीं बता सकती. बट द स्टिचिंग इज डिफरेंट, बट द मोटिव्स, द काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, द शेप्स, द डिजाइंस, आपको ऑलमोस्ट हर जगह अंबिया मिलेंगे. You can see yourself concentric circles, you will see quadrants. Okay, all these kind of things are very, very prevalent in our art and craft of India. Okay, next, this is a, weaving the embroidered. This is of Nagaland, and this is a Toda community, again a tribal community of Tamil Nadu. Look at even the color thing, and this information I can give you, that Toda embroidery only uses red, black, and white. That's the only three color that they use. And if you go to Northeast, like Naga and all that, for them also, this red, black, you must have seen Nagaland shawls. They are mainly the color combination you would find is red, black, and white. Isn't that amazing? And look at the kind of designs. They're very kind of, again, similar. So this is, sorry, somebody said can't hear me. Am I audible to people?
Audible.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because somebody just said that can't hear me. So I was a bit shocked. Okay, so here I'm talking about that, whichever region that we take, if you have to explore, like I believe Delhi was given Sikkim, and I got quite a few phone calls from my friends that what do we do? And the first thing I said, look into their weaving, look into their handicrafts, look into their architecture, the traditional ones. Like the architecture, if you see, is very rectilinear. There's a lot of parallel lines and all these kind of things. Weaving, weaving, have you ever thought weaving is like graph? आपने अगर वो looms देखे हैं, हाथ से, I'm not talking about power loom, though of course that would have the same thing, but hand loom, वो लोग बैठ के जो हाथ से करते हैं, thread आपका warp and weft होता है. So that is like your x and y axis, the various lines, they are crisscrossing, and when they are making, that is why, it is they are so expensive. You are having woven design. Can you imagine the accuracy you required? Because those are points कि यहाँ पे green डलेगा, so that is my point. Okay, those coordinates have to be absolutely correct, नहीं तो आपका फूल के बजाय फूल गोभी बन जाएगा. So how much mathematics, how much accuracy goes into it? So therefore, again, when you have, because I saw somebody had questioned that, what about states and all that, and that is specifically why I took up. I also found why I did this about Karnataka, because I think somebody called me from Dehradun. I think probably they had been Uttarakhand or Dehradun, they had been given Karnataka. So, it is really not difficult. You can go into the weaving. And again, if you're going into weaving, saris, look at saris, look at the borders, what kind of work, and always go for traditional one, because that is what is the original thing that you're going to find. All right. After that, of course, we come to Rangoli. That is something, like this is, somebody had mentioned kolam. So this is kolam. All right. This is from Bengal. I took it slightly different because people would be getting bored of circles and all that. But still, you can find, those typical circles. One thing I would like to say, these things, they have meaning. Okay? They have meaning. Bengalis, they are rice lovers. These depict धान के जो शीश होते हैं ना, well, I really have not stayed in a village. I have just seen pictures. This is what they depict. कि घर में धान भरा हुआ हो. So these are धान के शीश done in an artistic form. And of course, these kind of rangolis you see all over the place. Again, the motive being concentric circles. All right. So, with all these, I think we are kind of getting the idea. And this is the last thing that, mehendi designs. All right. Again, you have these, look at all this. I mean, you just, I think, need to have the eyes to look. And when you show them to children and ask them to ek do aap dikha dijiye and tell them to find it. Maybe do one project on mehendi designs of all region. Let me tell you something. Difference hoga. And it is amazing. Bridal design of mehendi is alag from Karwa Chauth design or Diwali design. Rajasthani mehendi designs will be different from UP mehendi designs. There's a lot. So what is some people may be using triangles more, lines more, all kinds of things that the children can look at and find interesting. So as we inch towards the end, this is what I would like you to think about and tell me, do you agree with this? So हम बोलते हैं नालायक बच्चा है, कुछ नहीं आता, ये नहीं आता, वो बात की बात है. बट एक बार बच्चे को इंटरेस्ट आ जाए, बहुत कुछ हो सकता है. एंड पहले ही बताया था कि हमें क्रिएटिव थिंकर्स बनाना है, कैलकुलेटर्स नहीं. आजकल आई थिंक फुटपाथ पे कैलकुलेटर, व्हेन आई से आजकल आई डोंट मीन दिस टाइम, बट यू नो व्हाट आई मीन, कि फुटपाथ पे 50-50 रुपए के बिकते हैं. जरूरत पड़े तो वो खरीद लेंगे, अपने बच्चों को कैलकुलेटर नहीं बनाना है. सो विद दिस आई कम टू द लास्ट slide, and this is what I'd like to say: a big thank you to all of you. My name, email ID is there, and I would like you people to keep in touch. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much, and stay healthy, stay safe, all the best. I hope you enjoy doing all this as much as I did. Please
Thank
keep
you
in
so much,
touch.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was no doubt a wonderful session. I personally enjoyed it. I never liked maths, but this webinar was fun. I wish we have such creative teachers, and maths can be interesting and fun always. Thank you for your time. I'd also like
Thank
to
you.
thank our participants on YouTube, on
And
Bright
they have been
Tuty.
very, I just want to add, wonderful, interactive. This is one
Yeah.
thing I miss about offline workshop, the, interactive thing. But out here, it has been very interactive. In fact, I might have missed out, going through all
Yes,
the.
you must have missed out some of the messages that were coming on our Bright QT and YouTube channel as well,
Mhm.
because there were thousands of, hundreds of teachers who were writing and commenting, and they loved the session and they were participating, which was
Thank
very
you.
nice. And thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
all our participants who've been with us. And if you have any queries or suggestions, you can please get in touch with Goyal Brothers Prakashan of Right Duty on the above email address mentioned here. Uh, Thank you,
you.
Jitin, for handling the session very well. And most of all, I'll also like to thank our sales and the marketing team who have reached out to all the teachers and made this webinar possible. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
We'll end
so
the
much.
webinar
Thank
now.
you, all the participants. Thank you, Maitreyi. Thank you,
Thank
Thank
you.
Jitin.
Thank you,
thank
everyone.
you.
With this, we'll end the meeting. Have a good day.
Thank you.